Welcome, everybody. It's a really great day here. Welcome. Many of you obviously know who Mercy Housing is. For those of you that don't, we're a national nonprofit organization. We have community roots throughout the country, and one of our strongest are here in Sacramento. And you'll hear a lot more about that today, but we're really excited about the opening of this building. It represents a really important moment for us organizationally and obviously for the Lohse family. So thank you very much for taking the time to be here. I'm not going to say much to start. I think one of the main opportunities we have when we do this work is to sort of acknowledge the many people that have paved the path to make today's like today possible. And I will say with no false modesty that I had almost nothing to do with making today possible. Unfortunately, Stephen Dawes, who's one of the people that helped make this, is not here today. But many people who are here. I myself got my start in affordable housing community development almost 25 years ago. And that makes me like a newbie, dabbler compared to some of the folks that are in this room. And that's not by way of saying people are old, but just that they've been doing the work a really long time. And so, as a mentor said to me many years ago, this is the community development work, social justice work. It's not a sprint, it's a relay race. And so part of what we get to do is really stand on the shoulders of people that came before us, who paved the way, made things like today possible. There are many such people in the room, but one who I want to introduce so that he can introduce more about Fred is Stan Kiesling, who's been an incredible, powerful force around affordable housing community development for many years. He is younger than me, so that makes his longevity in the field even weirder. But I'll let Stan say a few words.
Yeah, right. So actually, I've probably been doing this work as long as you've been alive. So anyway, it is great to be here. I can't tell you just how long we have been trying to make this day happen, how long Fred was trying to make this day happen in particular. Rural California Housing Corporation it was a nonprofit organization located in Sacramento, and in 2000 we merged into the Mercy Housing system and became part of Mercy Housing. And so Fred was on the board of Rural California Housing, and then also became a board member of Mercy Housing California as part of his work with us. And the story that I always say about Fred is that Fred was interested in and passionate about affordable housing before he came to RCHC. And actually, he came to RCHC because he was so passionate that they kicked him off of the Planning Commission here. And so, you all can understand that. I could never understand how he ever got on the Planning Commission, to tell you the God's truth. I mean, he was probably the most irreverent person I ever met. But I also had the great good fortune to hang out with Fred on at least a monthly basis. He would come to board meetings, and we also stuck him on a couple of other boards that he had to go to with me, and so it was always fun to be able to hang out. But Fred's real passion was to try and bring more affordable housing to Roseville and to Placer County, and whenever we would, bring up a new project idea to the board of RCHC and then to the board of Mercy Housing, Fred was always like, okay, so when are we going to do this in Roseville? And kept pushing us in that direction. And so, it's finally here, Fred. And it is really pretty spectacular. And I hope you all agree that it's spectacular. We actually started naming projects at Rural California Housing, naming projects for people who were really instrumental and important in their development. We started that probably in the mid-90s. And it is totally fitting and appropriate that this one would be named after Fred for all of the great work that he did for us and with us and for the city, frankly. He was as obnoxious as he could be, he was also really committed to making the city a better place to live. And John Sprague, I see you back there nodding. It's great to see you here. John took a lot of Fred's abuse. Anyway. But the reality is, it was a passion, and I think that this building and the work that Mercy Housing has done here is really shows the quality of work that can be done and that should be done as a part of providing affordable housing for folks. So I'm just really glad to be here to enjoy this day with all of you, and so thanks for being here, and thanks.
Okay, next I want to bring up Christina Metters, who's here representing the California 6th Assembly District.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here this morning. On behalf of Assemblyman Kevin Kiley, I would like to take this opportunity to commend the City of Roseville and Mercy Housing for their diligent work with federal, state, and local agencies to make this project happen. Public and private partnerships are a vital component in the process of providing affordable housing and are a necessary and creative affordable housing solution for our communities. The Lohse apartments are an incredible example of the good that can come from government, developers, and community organizations working together to serve the needs of the community. We at the state know that this is no easy feat, so I would like to say congratulations and thank you to Mercy Housing and again to the City of Roseville and the other organizations who have contributed to this project for once again being a bright shining star in Assembly District 6. On behalf of Assemblyman Kiley and the California State Assembly, I am pleased to present a certificate of recognition in honor of Lohse Apartment Complex for this occasion. Thank you.
We're just going to step over here for the, it's never been done before, a picture with a... Okay. I think it's been alluded to that this is a long time in coming, and there are a lot of people who showed a lot of patience and perseverance in getting us here. I think we want to thank the City of Roseville, among those, for really sticking with this project through lots of different twists and turns in the field. And I want to bring up Vice Mayor Krista Bernasconi to talk a little bit about the city's role in Roseville. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. As Doug mentioned, my name is Krista Bernasconi, and I serve as the city's vice mayor. So on behalf of the City Council, I want to welcome Mercy Housing and its residents to downtown. I've known the Lohse family since I was a kid, so I feel particularly honored to be able to make these comments here today. Not that this project's been going on since I was a kid, but it probably feels like it, yes. So this project represents a significant investment in our city's downtown, and as it's been mentioned, it's a project that's been worked on by the council and staff long before I came on board. I think it's important that you know that all of our council members are dedicated to downtown Roseville, and we have strong ties to the area, both in our personal and civic roles. Council members John Allard and Pauline Rakucci have supported this project since its inception with Mercy years ago, which was, I understand, about 11 years ago. Councilmember Scott Alvord owned a business for many years here on Vernon Street, and between my current business and my family's business, we have been on Vernon Street for 40 years. It almost says how old I am. Our city is committed to ensuring our downtown is a thriving district and now a place for some to call home. The city is grateful to partner with Mercy Housing, who is an expert in affordable housing. I'm sure you all know, but they took a contaminated old gas station site and brought people and residents, in fact, to this end of Vernon Street, which I know has been a vision for a very long time. This complex provides options for our local workforce that will stabilize their housing costs, which we think will have a positive impact on our local economy. And as a veteran, I'm particularly proud that the artwork in the lobby was created by women veterans in partnership with Women Veterans Alliance, and each floor of the complex features work by a different local artist. So I also want to thank the Blue Line Gallery for their work with that too. I know I speak for the entire council when I say that we are excited to see what changes this project will spark going forward. Thank you.
All right, now that the microphone's out of the stand, I'm feeling a certain amount of pressure to walk the room, but I'm going to resist. So I do want to say a special thank you to the staff, Danielle Foster and Tricia Issam. I think they were among many others who persevered and worked with us on this over the time, and also to the property owner who sold us this property, who stuck with us for a very long time, Kirk Doyle. So maybe just a quick round of applause for those guys. You know, these projects have like financing structures that are so achingly complex that I'm going to spare most of you the detail. But I will sit over here later if you want to hear all of the details. And Stan is willing to talk to you about it for as long as you want. They are complex. We are really lucky on this project to have a couple of really fantastic financial partners that have worked with us on many, many of these over the years. It takes a certain amount of, I don't even know the right adjective really, but it's an unusual set of character traits that makes you want to finance affordable housing, I guess is the best way to put it. But it's an incredibly important job, and we're really, really thankful to have among our financial partners here, Lori Saito from Wells Fargo to talk for a little bit about this project.
Okay, what an introduction that is. So I have a personality that we're not quite sure how crazy I am.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then we're talking about age. So last year I actually celebrated my 35th anniversary with Wells Fargo. God, do people stay with banks that long? I've been doing affordable housing. It'll be 25 years this summer. So it has tremendously changed. And I actually didn't know what affordable housing was, honestly. Did not know what affordable housing was when somebody goes, I've got the job for you. Little did I know you needed a little bit of craziness in your mind to get through it. It really does take a village to get one of these done. When you're on a conference call, when these start going on, there's 20, 25 people on the conference call because it's all the cities, it's all the sub-debt, it's all their attorneys, it's all your team, it's all the borrower's team. It's everybody. But my job is actually pretty easy compared to what Mercy Housing has to do. Because Mercy is the one that literally has to put it all together and has to get us all focused and going the right way. And trust me, in affordable housing, there's always little side tangents that happen, either before you close, after you close, under construction. Things always go kind of crazy. But I've been great. So the 25 years that I've been doing this, I think the first project I worked on was with Jane Graff out in Santa Cruz on a Mercy project. And that one is actually, if you know affordable housing, it's 15 years of LIHTC, so it's generally 2 years for construction, and then 15 years is the period for the tax credits. And then sometimes by year 20, it goes through re-syndicated again, and it starts kind of rehabbing all the deferred maintenance on the property. Yeah, that was me. We've already gone rounds on that. So I'm extraordinarily lucky to be doing what I do. I love what I do. There's no other way around it. When you first start getting into affordable housing, you realize, even as a banker, the impact that I can do on our communities. It's important to us. It's important to me. I'm so honored to be part of a group of people that believe that affordable housing is truly important. I want to introduce Terrence Cordero over there. He's my equity guy. So I focus on construction. I'm the construction person. I actually get to go through all the construction part of it. That's actually really fun because it's dirt and then you've got a great building. And Terrence is on the other flip side of it. He actually is the investor in this. So Wells is playing two different parts. One, I get to focus on the construction, and then Terrence and part of Wells Fargo purchases the tax credits and is becoming the partner in this. So again, we're just really glad and very, very honored that Mercy Housing continues to work with us. And again, we've had a 25-year span of a great relationship with Mercy, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of this today. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna watch my descriptions of psychology the next time I introduce Lori, but you rolled with it very well. So, we also have Mary Kaiser here, who is representing California Reinvestment, and they have been fabulous in supporting the permanent loan on this project. California Community Reinvestment Corporation does a lot of permanent lending on projects where a bank doesn't necessarily want to do or take the long-term permanent loan, and so they've been a fabulous partner to both us and Wells Fargo in many projects, and we want to thank you, Mayor. So hopefully, almost everyone in the room knows about the State Department of Housing and Community Development, or HCD. Just this year on the ballot, the voters of California took it upon themselves to pass $6 billion of affordable housing bonds to really make a dent in the state's affordable housing and homelessness problems. And I think it's a real testament to the belief and confidence that we have that we can do well with public funds and that they can really serve a great purpose, and that we have a great agency to do the work in partnering with groups like ours in cities like Roseville. So I want to bring up Eric Dodorov, who's from the Division of Financial Assistance of HCD, and I apologize if I just butchered your name, but...
No, I accept all pronunciations.
All right, excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just take a few moments of your time. Again, my name is Eric Dodorov, and on behalf of the California State Department of Housing and Community Development and our Director, Ben Metcalf, I'd like to thank Mercy Housing and the City of Roseville for extending an invitation to be a part of this grand opening celebration. We are excited to have been able to provide an infill infrastructure grant to Mercy Housing to build the parking garage. And we are really proud of the relationship that we built with Mercy Housing because they share the commitment to increasing the inventory of affordable housing in California that's so desperately needed. And for the department as a public lender, we recognize that if not for bringing together public and private investment, that developments like this would be few and far between, or not at all. So I just want to take the time to thank all of the development partners, all of the construction and financing partners that put in the sweat equity and the hard work to get this completed. But I also want to say what's important to keep these development relationships going forward is land use advocacy for affordable housing. And I know that Mercy Housing is deeply involved in that, and so is the department as well. And it's so important because advocacy for this is the catalyst that will drive the location and type of affordable housing that families need in order to gain access to neighborhoods of opportunity. So again, I just want to applaud all of the partners involved in this. And I just want to say, I think it's obvious that the city of Roseville has taken this to heart. In their downtown specific plan and focused on the Vernon Street district, they have incorporated commercial revitalization with mixed-use residential developments. And what that means is they're going to be able to impact the health and well-being and economic well-being of their residents for generations to come. So that's pretty significant. And you know, here we have Lohse Apartments. It's going to be the new prominent residential anchor for the southern portion of the Vernon Street district. And this is an absolute win. It's a win for the city of Roseville, for Mercy Housing, for all of the partners involved, and definitely a win for all of you is a win for the state of California. So we really thank you. We're looking forward to future partnerships. We have, as was indicated earlier, we have a ton of funding that came our way, and we need something to do with it. So we're looking forward to those relationships and increasing the inventory of affordable housing in California. Thank you very much.
I knew I didn't pronounce it well, but I didn't realize how badly I'd pronounce it, so. I just take a moment to acknowledge some other folks that are in the room. There are a number of folks in the Rural California Housing Corporation Board, so if you're on that organization's board, if you mind just raising your hand, and we thank you for, you know, what Eric was referencing and what we're acknowledging for Fred is just this incredible role of advocacy. These projects don't happen on their own, and you know, we execute them, and many times we advocate for them, but there are almost always people who have been advocating and making that work, from city council members to others, to really trying to find a place in different communities for affordable housing. And I think the truth of the matter is if every community in California was as accepting and embracing of affordable housing as Roseville has been for this project, we would demolish the affordable housing problem very quickly. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So the role for advocacy is really quite important. I also want to thank a couple other folks who really did build this building. So the folks from Deacon Construction, Dave Marchant and team, you're somewhere in the room. We can just acknowledge you guys. Over here, great. Sam Kingor and David Mogavero are our architects on this project, and many others. Charles Krafka from Cunningham Engineers, and there are a whole list of other folks that played a major role. I also want to acknowledge some of the Mercy staff that are in the room. Hiding up on the stairs is our fearless leader, Jane Graff. But if you are somebody who works for Mercy Housing, either on the development side or the services side, property management, any form or hand, just raise your hand for a second so that folks can acknowledge your great work. I want to take a second, and it was already alluded to, the fabulous artwork in the building. It really is fantastic. Brooke Abrams is here, I guess, and others? Yes, okay. Hi, Mary. You want to say a word? Or just, yeah, great. Go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody at Mercy who allowed Blue Line Arts to be a part of this wonderful new housing complex. We're very proud to be able to supply the residents with art from local artists who are in the audience today. If you're here, please say hello. Yeah. Thank you, guys. And we were also very proud to partner with the Women Veterans Alliance to complete the mural in the lobby, which was all completed by local female veterans, and it is stunning. So with this plaque, we'd just like to dedicate the mural to the efforts of all the local female veterans who helped make it happen.
Great, thank you so much. Great. I am sure that I have forgotten many names. I do know that I did forget to mention that we're also very happy to have Bonnie Gore here, as a plastic counter supervisor for this district. Thank you for coming. Thanks very much. Okay, so with that, I want to take a moment to introduce a resident of the building. She's taken the time and has volunteered to offer a little bit about her story. I just met Versi today. I think she's somebody that people who live in Roseville are going to really enjoy, are already enjoying as a neighbor. We just talked for a minute. She's originally from the great state of Missouri and moved out here partly to be with some family that are in Roseville. Fell in love with the town and is extremely happy to have a new place to live here in downtown Roseville. So Versi Anderson, please.
Nervous already. I dropped the paper. Good morning. I'm Versi Anderson, and I live here at the Lohse Apartments. I'm not going to pick that up because I know what's in it, so I'm just going to speak from my heart. I came here in 2009 to bridge a gap between my family and my niece and nephew to join back with my brother, my oldest brother. Sorry that he passed away December the 11th, 2018. Sorry. When I first came here, like I said, was to bridge a gap. And that gap led me to want to live here. The first time I flew was in 2009. But it was for a good reason. And I did bridge that gap. So I came back 2 weeks to stay, and I fell in love with Roseville. And I knew then this was a place for me. I met some beautiful people. I asked the Lord to put good people in my path because I was on a journey and I was all alone. That journey led me out on Hayden off of Federman. I lived there for 4 years until things went wrong back home. And I had to bring my grandkids out, which I have 4 grandsons, all of them about here. Once that tragedy was over and I had them out here with me, and things were going well. I moved from Hayden to Wood Creek, from Wood Creek to Madison. That journey from Madison led me here. I lived at 4901 Little Oak Lane, apartment 108. I had a neighbor that lived in apartment 106. Forgive me. It was a tragedy. The apartment exploded. We tried to save him, we didn't. And that was the horriblest thing in my life, was to see a person burn. I don't ever want to go down that road again, but I end up here. I moved here November the 5th, which was the most happiest day of my life. My daughter came home one day. She lives down the street, works down the street, I'm sorry. And she came home, she said, well, Mom, they're building a new building down the street from a job. And you know what? It's in Roseville, someplace you want to be. Because I didn't like Sacramento. So I said, well, you know what? Good, that's where I'm gonna be. So I did everything I had to do to get here. And when they said it was a lottery, and my number came up 13, boy, I thought I really hit the lottery. I mean, really hit the lottery. And I did. I came here November the 5th, as I said. And I met some wonderful people. Leslie, I love you. Wes, you're wonderful. Miss Betty, Bessie, some of the people I met here on my journey. But the main people that I did meet was from the Rock across the street. I mean, I take a walk every day, and I stand on one side of the fence, and I send up my prayers. I goes to the other side of the fence to wait for my answer. Okay? December the 11th, I lost that older brother, that I bridged that gap between him and his children. That was something I was glad to do, because if my mother was living, she would have did the same thing. I had to get home, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. But the people that was in my path was just across the street. And I didn't know how to go in to talk to them. And it just had to come to that. I had to muster up and go in. And I spoke to the pastor and his wife. I love them to death. Thank you. That was the longest journey home because we drove. There's a 20-some hour ride. But without them, I wouldn't have made it. But I did. The drive was long. It was hard, but I made it. And I made it back to my home, which is here in apartment 406. I wanted to say thank you for pulling my name. Thank you, God. And to the pastor and his wife, by the grace of God, I love you to death for all the help that y'all contribute on getting me home. And I did feel the triumph and the 1,000 heartbeats on that ride. And it looked like all the roads opened up to let us through. So it was, instead of a 2.5-day drive, we got there in a day and a half. And we came back the same way. Or they called and say, oh, there's a snowstorm coming, there's a bad weather. No. He was at the helm, and I'm grateful that he was, because he brought me back home to find myself standing here to tell my story. To all of you, and I thank you for letting me in your complex. And I hope I'll be here for a long time, because I don't think I can move any furniture off the fourth floor. Thank you.
I know better than to follow that. On that note, I guess I will just offer that the elevator is out of service today. So no one's really going to the fourth floor unless you're really excited for some extras. Hopefully it'll be back online. Mike, it's still off? Yeah.
It's our cardio amenity.
Right, exactly. We're very big on healthy living here at Mercy Housing. Helped immensely by old elevators and new elevators in some cases, but I'm sure it'll be back online quickly. These are the work we do. There are thousands of stories around the country for what affordable housing can do for a person or for a community or whatever it is, and every one of them is different. But I think, partly what I take from Mercy's story is that, these homes are foundational, and that's really the purpose of them, and that's the purpose of our work. So thanks very much for sharing your story. And now I know who to go to if I need to get somewhere fast. I cannot imagine getting to and from Missouri in a day and a half, but if I ever need to do it, I know exactly which pastor to reach out to. So on that, one more. I put my notes under my chair. Now I'm forgetting. Oh right, yes, of course. Well, I'm sorry. Thank you, Ruth. Sitting in front of me, but obviously been a major part of this conversation is Patty Lohse and the rest of the Lohse family. So hard to imagine how one would miss that. You're standing right in front of me, and in my mind, Stan did that already, so that was what I knew. But I just want to thank all of you for coming and for your family's commitment to the same issues that Fred was committed to. We're going to do a ribbon cutting with your family and with other folks, and there are refreshments. They were going fast, but hopefully you enjoyed them. And there are tours of the building that, Ruth, where will they be leaving from? From right over there? Okay. Great. So the tours are going to leave from the balloons in about 5 minutes or so. Great. So with that, I want to thank everyone here for everyone's commitment to the great work that's been done to get this building here. I hope you enjoy the day. And once again, thanks again to the Lohse family.